Benvenuto! Welcome to Cherry Hill Home Cooking. My name is Mark. Today we're going to make one of my childhood favorites, adulthood favorites. We're going to start out by making my grandmother's fried potatoes, which we're then going to make into home fries. All right, so I wanted to show you this. I've cooked this ahead of time. We're going to do it all together, but we're going to turn our potatoes in here into here, okay? And I just wanted, because this is the way my grandmother served it. We'll talk a little bit more as we cook. But, so my grandmother just called these fried potatoes. All right, so typically, she would make meatballs on Saturday or Sunday. And if I stayed over her house, she would, a lot of times, make just fried potatoes, what she called fried potatoes. She would save a little bit of her meatloaf mix and fry them, it'd be raw, and then she'd fry them up in the morning for us, and we'd have that maybe with some eggs and the potatoes. So really all she did with the potatoes is she'd salt them a little bit after it came out of the pan, and pepper. And we're going to enjoy these for dinner tonight too, but I just wanted to show you the way that she did it when I was younger. All right, and then a little bit of Parmesan cheese. And that was it. Quite a bit of Parmesan cheese. And like I said, we'd usually have that with eggs, scrambled eggs, sometimes fried eggs with some of her fried meatballs. And that is my grandmother's fried potatoes. One of my favorite things in the world. One of my fondest memories in the world is eating her fried potatoes. So there you go. Now, so as I said, what we're going to do is we're going to turn those fried potatoes into home fries. Wade and I really enjoy going out to restaurants for breakfast. And we went out last week. Not that we did go a lot, but since we've moved, we haven't really been able to find that breakfast restaurant that just hit that spot. They just, I could go every day and eat it. But we had home fries, and the home fries are good, but mine are better. So I thought, I'm going to share that with you guys, how I do them. All right? Now, I've adapted this recipe, or I should say I'm going to give you measurements for this recipe for 3 pounds of potatoes, all right? 2.5, 3, the most, meaning that I'm going to use a half of white onion. I used, I'm going to use a red pepper. You can use any kind of bell pepper you want, green, red, yellow, whatever you want. And that's one kind of small to medium-sized one, okay? Then I've got some gold or yellow potatoes. I like using golden or yellow potatoes just because they don't have a ton of starch, but we do want to want a potato that has a little bit of starch. All right. So we're going to go over that in a second. Then, as far as we need a little bit of olive oil or good vegetable oil, I should say, a good quality olive oil. You don't need to use your best. Your $15 a bottle. This is just a good cooking extra virgin olive oil. All right. As far as our potatoes, like I said, we talked about that. We're going to chop those up in a minute. I'm going to tell you why, or why I want to talk to you about it. And then, as far as our peppers, so we got our pepper, and I do want to do the pepper and the onion relatively small. The bad part there. We want them to cook pretty fast. I like, in my home fries, I like the veggies to be, cooked, maybe to the point of a little overcooked. I like them to be as soft as the potatoes, so that's why I cut them up small, because these are going to cook alongside, but in a different pan with the potatoes. All right, and then we're going to do basically the same thing. Now cutting ourselves with our onion, all right? So again, we're just going to cut it into small dice. I just chop it lengthwise, try to keep it together because it's easier that way, but that doesn't want to incorporate. Neither does that one. All right. and none of it's gonna. All right, and then so I just take that and I would chop this small. All right. Again, that's going to be up to your preference. If you want them big pieces in there and you like them not to cook as much. But that's the way I did it. All right, so we want about a cup of chopped onions, maybe a cup and a half, a little bit, depending on your preference. And then the same with our bell pepper. All right, I'll do that after, but the one thing I did want to talk about the potatoes a little bit. All right, so again, we've got these are yellow potatoes, which I've peeled, of course. You don't have to peel them, but you can, I do. One thing I peel them for is sometimes when you're with potatoes, you'll get those, it'll get a really dark black spot on it. I don't think that'll kill you. It's still good, but it just tastes like dirt to me. So I like to peel it so that I can make sure there's none of that on. But also sometimes when you cut it, you're going to find it in the middle. So, all right, so why am I making you watch me do this? Because, again, I want to cut these relatively small, but I don't throw them back in the water. Now you can see, so after I peeled the potatoes, I put them in some water. All right. And the reason, now you can peel them and throw them back in the water. The reason I don't do that is I want them a little bit starchy. So again, I just cut those in small, I wouldn't even say bite-sized pieces, diced pieces. Now, if you threw these back in the water, again, the reason we do that is because you don't want them to brown. That one's not going to brown. You would, we've taken the starch off the outside, and you take the starch off on the inside. So, anyway, that's why I do that. I don't know if it makes any sense in any culinary sense or any culinary world, but that's the way I do it. All right, I'm going to cut the rest of these up. So with this, you do have to work somewhat quickly so they don't brown. But all right, I'm going to cut the rest of these up. And, actually, before we do that, I didn't really talk about any of the spices because this is truly, a 3-ingredient recipe, right? We've got potatoes, we've got peppers and onions and some spices. So you can go crazy. I do this pretty simply. I'm just going to do, I'm going to do some garlic powder and some paprika. And I do put a little bit of accent in there, all right? But now's the time to make this your own. You can put any kind. You can use some seasoning salt. You got awesome Creole season. Tony's Creole seasoning would be delicious as well if you want to add a little bit of heat, or just salt and pepper, whatever you choose. But that's it. So, all right, let me chop these up and we'll be back in a bit. Okay, we got our potatoes all nicely diced. Okay, so, and I've got a couple frying pans here getting warmed up. All right, and I'm going to start with some olive oil. Now, the olive oil is going to depend. We don't need to deep fry these, but we want a nice good coating on the bottom of the pan. All right, guys, so I'm going to say at least 3-4 tablespoons, and you might even add a little bit more during your cooking process. All right, and I'm going to put that up again. And we need a little bit of butter, because it always makes it better. Probably about a teaspoon. And we're not going to put it in the peppers. I might add some later. So this is for the potatoes. All right. I need a spoon. Be right back. Oop. We can use this one. So we're just going to let our butter melt, and it'll start to foam up a little bit. And then we're going to throw our potatoes in. So as always, with frying, I think we can fit these all in. My pan was a little bit bigger, but that's all right. Yeah, that's going to be good. All right, so now on this cooktop here, I'm at about medium high. I'm going to turn this up to high. Now, this is one of those things that you don't want to walk away and go fold a load of laundry because, one, you don't want your kitchen to catch on fire because there's oil in there. But these will start to brown. It's going to seem like in the beginning they're taking their time browning, but they will begin to brown quickly. Now, a lot of people do the onions, peppers in the same pan. That's nothing wrong with that, but I like the potatoes to be a little bit crispy. If you put the peppers and onions in now with the potatoes, then they're going to get soggy. All right, so we're going to do our carrots and peppers, our bell peppers and onions separately. And we're going to let them cook alongside each other. And I'm going to turn that up to a little bit higher. So medium high. Again, you want to keep your eye on both of them. And we're starting to get little nice the oil bubbling on the sides. And I'm going to go as high as I can on this. There's nothing like the smell of onions and peppers. Our seasonings are all going to go in last, but I'm going to keep my oil and my butter close because I'm probably going to put a little bit of both in during the cooking process. We'll come back through these as we go through a couple different stages of coloring here. So we want to get these golden brown and delicious, and of course we also want them to be cooked through. So we'll come back a couple times before we put everything together so you can kind of see the transition. All right? See you in a little while. All right, guys, we've been cooking or frying this for about 5, 6, 7 minutes. I just wanted to show you the first thing is, and I've always noticed that your potatoes are going to start to stick together. Okay, that's the starch inside the, that we didn't wash off. And so as they're frying, they're going to start to stick together before they start to brown. So that's why you want to keep it moving. All right, that's it. See you when they're brown. All right, we're about another 5 minutes in, and you can see our potatoes are turning crispy and golden brown and delicious. I'm going to go ahead and put just a tad bit more olive oil in our pan. Maybe another tablespoon at the most. Give it a stir. We'll add just a touch of salt. All right, and we've been doing the same thing with our red peppers and onions. We've been sautéing them on a pretty, medium-high heat along with them. Our potatoes, we're going to put a little salt and pepper in here because those are about done, so we can turn that down. I haven't added any salt at this point, so that's just really a couple pinches, not even a quarter of a tablespoon, I would say. But that's about done, so we can turn that down, and we'll be back when our potatoes are golden and brown and cooked through. All right, guys, our home fries or our potatoes are, I don't know what I did that for. Put that all off. Okay, are done. They're golden brown and delicious, right? Let's give them a little tiny bit sprinkle of salt. Maybe some black pepper. And now is where you'd add your additional seasonings if you want. What do I do with them? I'm going to add the smallest amount of accent. And let's toss some, I'm going to say probably about a tablespoon of garlic powder. And, of course, what would home fries be? We're going to keep calling them hash browns, but they're not hash browns. Home fries be without some paprika. Give it a little color. This is smoked paprika. You can use whatever you got. Then we're going to add our peppers and onions. Give it all a toss. And put it on a platter. A warm one from the dishwasher if possible. Only joking, that just happens to be a coincidence. You can still hear our crisp on our potatoes there. And there you go, how I make my home fries. Actually, I'm going to use this. Oh, it's finally supper time. Well, I haven't even, we're having kind of a breakfast for supper. So we got some cheesy scrambled eggs. We got our fried potatoes, our home fries, and I was going to have some breakfast meat, but I forgot to do that, and to Wade's poor dismay.
Yep.
But anyway, so how about we try my grams first? So again, this was a big part of my childhood, was just her fried potatoes, and she did it for a lot of things. Whenever there was a few potatoes left, she'd fry them up. Nice and crispy.
Yeah. Crispy.
That little bit of a good Parmigiano cheese, delicious.
That is delicious.
All right. For my home fries. And they're nice and crispy, which I like.
Oh, good.
Those are tasty, huh? Oh, those are delicious. Garlic comes out. The garlic powder flavor.
Yep.
Nice crispy still potatoes. Nice soft peppers.
Excellent.
My eggs, let's say. I make good scrambled eggs.
Yeah, you do.
Thank you.
That's cheesy eggs. Yeah.
All right, well, guys.
That's really good.
Thank you for having breakfast for dinner with us tonight. I hope that you enjoyed watching us make our home fries. No, yes, home fries, right? Not hash browns, home fries. Right? It's just the way I make them. Nothing special about it, but I like them. Wade likes them.
So do I. Yep.
All right, that's all I got to say. I'm going to eat my home fries.
Yep. Thanks for having supper with us. Please remember to like and subscribe and check out cherryhillhomecooking.com. And we'll see you on the next video.
Ciao.
Bye.
Well, delicious.
They are.